You, my friend, are watching Your Fast Life motorcycle channel, the most awesome motorcycle channel in the universe. So, I would like to invite you to go to carlylespics.com and check out my motorcycle videos. Just click on here, click on motorcycles. I'm also on Instagram at carlylespics. And the topic of today is lightweight wheels. This is actually my car channel, wrong channel. So let's go back to Your Fast Life motorcycle channel, my main channel, and let's scroll down. I've actually made some changes here, by the way. So the reviews are here, some action videos are here. Some of the most favorite videos that I have on the channel are here, and then the motorcycle safety videos are here. Videos that I like are here, and here's Your Fast Life Auto Network. Auto, including motorcycles and cars. And guess who just got included? 650 Ebe. I wonder if he includes me on his channel. I'm sure he does. Anyway, let's go ahead and click on 650 Eve's channel. He just did a video about getting the BST wheels that he was talking about getting for quite some time now. So he has those brand spanking new wheels, which he put on his Ninja H's. So there's the wheels right there. And the topic of today's discussion is the sort of value of looking at 650 Eve's armpits for a second. What? Um, the value of getting lightweight wheels. Now, we're not going to talk just specifically about, this particular scenario. So, what were the benefits of him doing this with his bike? So, the Ninja H2 2015, putting on the BST carbon fiber wheels. Was it worth it or not? Well, again, not talking just about this particular scenario, but just in general. Maybe you guys have a BMW S1000RR. You have a KTM RC8R. Just did a video about how they're going to get rid of that bike. But regardless of whatever the bike is that you have, you want to get lightweight wheels, and it's very expensive. And you're like, is it really worth the money? Well, let's find out. That's your drum roll. Either drum roll or machine gun fire. But anyway, so this is the results of the changes that he's made on the bike. So according to the measurements made by Mr. 650 Ebe, his H2 front wheel is 10 pounds. The BST front wheel is 7 pounds. I almost said 71 pounds the way he wrote it there. The rear wheel was 11. That's a stock wheel. And now it is 10 pounds. Notice the bigger differences on the front wheel versus the rear wheel. And I'd like to add an additional note. The front wheel that he weighed, these are used wheels, right? He's done a lot of miles on these wheels, so he may have lost a couple to a few pounds on that. So there could actually be a more weight that he saved that is not represented in this measurement, because again, he's measuring the difference between a used stock H2 wheel or tire that has been lightened by the smackdowns, all the smackdowns he's been doing. He's been shaving off weight. So essentially, you're talking about a much lighter than stock, or potentially significantly lighter than stock wheel or tire for the H2. So if we talk about a brand new H2 tire versus the new tires that he put on there, we might see that there's actually much more weight savings on the BST wheel, because again, it's kind of like the stock tires have cheated. They've shaved off some weight so they can cheat and appear to be lighter than they actually are. I mean, they actually are this light, but again, stock tires, new tires will weigh more than these tires. How much more? That means to be seen. Again, a couple pounds, maybe? Who knows? So don't get too caught up in these measurements, but let's just say it's a safe assumption to assume that potentially Mr. 650 Ebe has saved about let's say 4 pounds total between what he's done in the front and what he's done in the rear. So what does that mean, saving 4 pounds? It doesn't sound like a lot, especially in the rear. Not a lot of weight that's been saved there necessarily. But let's talk about what the advantages are of saving weight in your tires. So if you go to my main page and you just go in here in this search box right here and type in 0 and enter, you're going to see all my Zero electric bike videos. So you can see some of the commentary I had on that particular bike, or you can just go back to the main home page here, the main channel page, and right there it's the first review. If you click on this, then you can actually see my review that I did of the Zero S electric bike. Now, why I'm mentioning this is because I had a lot of fun riding this bike. And one of the reasons why I had the fun that I did was actually because the bike was very flickable. I mean, a lot of it was the power. It has torque, everywhere. So as soon as you twist the throttle, you've got full power available to you. There's no higher RPM power chasing. You get the full power all the time. So that was awesome. The silence of it was awesome. But also the bike was very flickable. I didn't expect that. I look at this bike. I mean, just look at it. It doesn't look like necessarily this kind of a twisty bike. I'm going to go Mulholland Drive and have all this fun in it or on it. But I was actually pleasantly surprised that when I got up in the twisties in the Hollywood Hills, because I like to ride around in the Hollywood Hills. Who knows where that's coming from? Anyway, that's more for the car guys. But anyway, yeah, so it was very flickable, very, very flickable. Why was that? What's the science behind why this bike was flickable? Well, on the surface, you may just say, oh, it's a lighter weight bike. And it's electric bike, so it's actually a little bit heavier than, say, a gas-powered bike of this size would be. But let's get into the specifics. Number one, you don't have those moving parts like you would have on a gas-powered bike. All those heavy mechanical parts that are spinning around, and you have this energy that's produced by the motion of all those, again, heavy parts that are spinning and rotating within that engine. Now, there is an effect that is caused by that motion that is counterproductive to you leaning the bike in the corners. So you get on the bike and you're trying to, get into the turns, and there's a certain level of resistance that you have to overcome in order to lean the bike into the turn. Now, your level of skill and training has definitely a major factor in there in terms of knowing how to counter steer, for example. But beyond that, the bike itself, the physics of the bike itself are also things to consider. So what are the factors here? Again, you don't have all those big, heavy moving parts in the engine. So the engine itself, the lack of all those moving parts helps in terms of not having the same level of resistance to changing direction in the turn. But there's also the wheels. This bike has very small wheels and therefore lightweight wheels. So when you combine the smaller lightweight wheels and the lack of those heavy moving parts, you have a bike that is very, very flickable. So that is one of the key things, and I'm just going to let this play while we move on to other topics. So that's going to be one of the key things that you're going to see in terms of, the weight savings. And I would say 4 pounds is it's respectable. It's a respectable amount. I mean, I'm by no means a lightweight motorcycle expert by any means. All right, man, we get it, man. All right, so let's move on. Let's move on. So we covered one of the reasons, or two of the reasons why that motorcycle was extremely flickable. What the hell is going on here? What the hell just happened? Anyway, but let's go to the Ninja H2 and actually bikes in general. So on the Ninja H2, with the reduction of those, say, close to 4 pounds weight reduction, you're going to have a less resistance to turning. Now, when you're trying to turn a motorcycle, again, you're fighting against physics. You have these wheels that are spinning around. They want to continue in the same orientation that they are when the bike is upright, and now you want to lean them, and the wheels are like, no! So the heavier the wheels are, the more the resistance you have, right? So with this 4 pound overall weight reduction, that is going to potentially make the Ninja H2 a more flickable bike. Now, how much more flickable? That remains to be seen. I don't think it's going to be a drastic thing. I don't think 650 EV is going to be like, man, oh man, this thing feels like it's a 600 now. But I think he's going to notice. But now let's qualify those changes. Now this is going to more affect you for twisty roads and technical tracks and things like that. An impression I get is that 650 Eve does a lot of highway riding. Now he goes on a track. I don't know how accessible twisty roads are in terms of where he lives, but I think this bike is going to see a lot of highway miles. Now, I don't think he's going to take this to a track a lot. It's a Ninja H2. It's too special of a bike to really have on a track too many times. So, again, a majority of this bike's life is going to be seen on the highway and the smackdown. So, in those arenas, I don't know how significant it is being a little bit more flickable. Now, that's not the only advantage that he's going to potentially see with this weight savings. There's also going to be increased acceleration and increased braking performance. The acceleration comes from, number one, look at the overall weight of the bike and rider. You have all this weight that you need to move forward, right? You got all this weight that you need to move forward, and there is the resistance to that forward motion. Again, objects want to remain how they are unless acted upon by another object, right? So a bike that is at a stoplight doesn't really want to go forward, right? You have to resist that tendency to just want to stay there. Then when you're moving, you have to resist the tendency to want to just keep moving forward. But there's different aspects of this. So when you talk about the acceleration, so he's going to potentially feel like he has a little bit more horsepower. I don't know, maybe a couple I'm gonna say a couple pounds, a couple horsepowers. So let's just say let's say horses, right? Let's say he's gonna feel like he has an extra 2 horses or 3 horses or something like that. Nothing massive, but noticeable potentially. You feel like, wow, it feels like it's accelerating a little bit faster. Now, the other thing is that's gonna work in reverse when you stop as well. Just like a pair of headphones, some of you guys may not be aware of this, but you can actually use headphones as a microphone in a lot of cases. Just use them kind of in reverse. Same thing with the wheels here. When you're braking, the opposite is in effect. So basically, you have 2 things that you're dealing with. You have the motion, total weight of the bike, total weight plus the rider,